What's going on there, guys? We back with another one. We got the NBA draft around the corner. You know, the NBA finals is about to start, but the NBA season never actually stops. You know, a few weeks it'll be summer league after the draft, and training camps and all that stuff will be right back because the summer league has now turned into another league that you'd be interested to watch, you know, for a little bit of time just to see how the rookies look. Um, but we got to talk about Bronny James and Ryan Clark and the guys on the pivot was talking about this today. And I've been thinking about this Bronny James thing over the last few weeks as it relates to nepotism. And we see a lot of people and a lot of players have had that sort of influence, right? You could look at John Stockton and his son with the Utah Jazz. I mean, a lot of people gloss over that, but that's one that I really think about, you know, with John Stockton's son being able to play some minutes with them. But my issue is we've seen them get office positions, you know, and they probably shouldn't get it as soon as they get it. You know, they probably not the most qualified. But again, their parents in position. They brought them up in the system to show them how everything works, and so they're getting put in powers of position, whether it's when their parents pass away or when their parents step away. LeBron is just using his power to get his son to be a player. Now, I don't necessarily agree with some of the ways that he says it because it adds extra pressure to the young man. But if he can get his son into the NBA and Bronny is able to get there and play his way onto a roster, I think that would be dope. Now I've seen Rich Paul and them come out saying they not accepting no what did he say, no two-way contract or nothing like that. He wants a fully guaranteed deal for whatever team he's on. So we've seen this dating back to Bronny all the way to the high school All American game. You know, LeBron is clicks, and you get to see the business portion. You know, in a lot of ways, LeBron and Bronny's exposing a lot of things that a lot of people chose not to see. Just the business aspect of it, and what a brand, even as big as the NBA, will do um, in order to get the clicks and get the viewership. But we're gonna listen to some of Bronny's comments prior to this clip I'm about to show you with Ryan Clark, and then I'm gonna come back and talk some more of this people.
What's the best thing that your dad has taught you about the game?
Just be yourself. I feel like that's what he's driven into my head pretty well. And I feel like that's gotten me a long way, and I'm going to stand by that.
You know, so much has been talked about you and your father sharing the floor together in an NBA game. What would that mean to you to get to take the floor with your dad?
Yeah, I mean, it'd mean a lot for sure. But that's not my main, focus right now. My main focus is to actually get to the league. But that's just plus points on top that I could share the court with my dad. I feel like it would be a great experience.
And you talked about some of the criticism that maybe comes with, being the son of a famous player. What's it been like for you to be in the spotlight? You look at your high school games. There's all sorts of media. Your college games obviously are so well attended. What's that been like for you?
It's a lot to deal with. But over the years, I feel like it's built me into a person that is strong mentally, and can get over these type of things. And I feel like I've handled it pretty well, and I'm happy where I am right now.
What was the decision-making process like for you to turn pro? Because it seems like it has just recently come down where you decided to stay in the draft. Here you are here at the Combine in Chicago. What was that whole process like, and maybe take us through your decision-making?
I always want to end up where I'm happy the most.
Mm-hmm.
Mom has always told me, take me where my heart wants me to be, and I just found happiness in what I'm doing right now, and I feel like that's where I want myself to be at.
What is it like to play the game of basketball when your father is one of the all-time greats of the sport?
It's tough. A lot of criticism gets thrown my way, but I got to deal with it. They don't know what I've been through. But yeah, I just try to make the best of my opportunities that's given to me.
As a kid, did you know that basketball was where you wanted to take this, or were you interested in other sports?
No,
was it always about hoops?
Yeah, no. I played other sports. I played soccer. Wasn't allowed to play football. My mom didn't allow that. So yeah, I always just been a sports guy, but basketball was just my cup of tea.
I'm gonna say this. Bronny seems like a very good young man every time I see him sit down and talk. Now, that's just me judging a book by its cover. Never met him or anything like that. But he seems like a young man with a great head on his shoulder. So kudos to mom and dad for that. Let me applaud them for that. Before I get into anything else, because that's most important. His character seems like it can take him some places, and his dad, has access to so many things and has so many resources. He could do anything outside of basketball that he chooses to do. But him pursuing the game, um, that he loves is very commendable because a lot of kids wouldn't even try to go this route. They would just sit back and live off what dad's doing when daddy has $1 billion, right? But Bronny is doing it this way. I think he could have used some more college, but again, this is a unique situation. My dad isn't LeBron James, so we're gonna see how this all play out. But Ryan Clark and the Pivot talked about it. Let's check it out.
Both of y'all, how many times has being who you are helped your children out?
Often.
You want to leverage that.
And what's
but you
wrong-
also,
what's wrong with that,
You
though?
also want your kids to know that they have to work hard as well.
Honestly, like, we're just talking about the perception of the way that people see Bronny James. I don't know if we're actually saying it's wrong that being Bronny James has helped him, or that people are saying that it's wrong. Rich Paul spoke to the nepotism that you see in the NBA already when you think about organizations. You look at a guy like James Dolan, who was called out by name by Rich Paul. We've seen, though, Austin Rivers play basketball. Austin Rivers was one of the best high school players in the country, if not the best, when he came out. Austin Rivers played amazing at Duke in his 1 year. Austin Rivers earned his way there, and no one said those things about Austin Rivers because people saw Austin Rivers as that player. We seen Scottie Pippen's son work his way onto a roster. No one's saying that Scottie Pippen's son is being helped, because when you put Scottie Pippen's son's film on, you say, okay, this is a guy that deserves the opportunity. Like, let's be honest about Bronny. And I respect everything about LeBron James and the way Bronny James is working. You don't get to be ranked 20 to 26th coming out of high school, right? Have an actual cardiac arrest, average 4.2 and go to the combine. Somebody named Fred Taylor Jr., Channing Crowder Jr., Ryan Clark Jr. would not be afforded that opportunity. He would not be spoken about in the way Bronny James is, good or bad, because his father is not LeBron. That's the reason he is getting the opportunities that he has, because of his connection to his father, connection to the most powerful agent in basketball because of his father. Now he does have to go out and perform, but when you look at who he truly is, who he truly was as a hooper, yes, he's 100% elevated by being LeBron James' son. And it doesn't mean that he will end up being a good basketball player. But this is the way life works. This is the reason you don't have to ask for a table when you walk up to a restaurant in Miami. This is the reason that Bill Belichick's sons have jobs in the league, or a guy like Sean McVay, whose father knew another GM or whose grandfather knew another GM and had these connections, can get him in the door as an intern. I think he was a quality control guy, I think it was Green Bay or San Francisco, but it was part of that tree. Like, that's the way life works. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen for us all the time. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen in our lines of work. And so when it happens in our lines of work, the worst part about it is it's our people who have the loudest microphone against something that has been working against us our entire existence in this country. And so to me, it's time for LeBron James and Bronny James to just put up or shut up. Mm-hmm. Right? Bronny James, you go play ball, you can earn yourself a roster spot, and I don't think anything is wrong with getting a leg up because of what your last name is.
Yeah, man. So when Ron Clark put it like that, it's not about what you know, what you can do. It's about who you know. And LeBron James is flexing that muscle a little bit. And so many of us are sitting around just worried about Bronny James potentially getting one little roster spot in the NBA, when that's not necessarily even a great, powerful position. We see nepotism. The thing is, in the front office, that's where the power is, and that's where the most money is going to be made. Yes, Bronny will be on TV. He'll be shown with his father and different things like that. If they ever grace the court together, it'll be nice clickbait. But this is the same. Put it like this, right? And I'm going to say this, and I want people to really think about what I'm about to say. The same people that's talking about he's only getting there because of this and because of that, and his father's LeBron James, is the same people that's going to turn around and write articles, whether it's positive or negative. So they don't want this storyline to go away. Contrary to popular belief, they need this story to stay around. As you see, it stays in the news cycle every day. And that's just keeping it real. Whether he's the ball player that some of the other young players is or not is irrelevant. And we've seen a lot of people who were drafted in the league didn't last in the league. And so if this is Bronny James and he only gonna be here while LeBron here, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? He's probably not gonna play heavy minutes or nothing like that. I know they're trying to pull strings in the background saying what will happen, what won't happen, what a team will do, what a team won't do. But LeBron James still gets butts and seats, man. Still sells a lot of merchandise. A lot of NBA franchises would love to have him from a business standpoint. I know a lot of people sit around, a lot of fans sit around and say, well, we can't win no championship with this version of LeBron. We'll need to build around it. But a starving organization that could earn money just by having him on the roster may consider that. Just from a business standpoint, it's a business transaction. It has nothing to do with the purity of basketball and setting up a team to win, especially if you a team that doesn't have the opportunity anyway. If you were Charlotte or somebody, you would take the 40-year-old LeBron, and that just makes business sense, right? You ain't gonna win no title, probably won't make the postseason, but if I can get LeBron in some kind of way, I may consider it for a year. So I say that to say that's why I don't cover the Bronny thing too much. I'll talk about maybe his combine appearance and how he looked at a tryout, or what he's gonna look like in summer league, how he might play. That's the kind of things I'll talk about. But just to talk about it negatively, I mean, he was born. He's LeBron James' son. I mean, what more do you want me to say, other than that muscle's being flexed, and he's taking advantage of that opportunity. Obviously represented by Clutch. We saw him at the Clutch Pro Day the other day, and it is what it is, man. I ain't about to spend too much time on it. He got into a power position, and this is why you get there, to be able to do this type of thing for your son. It's no different than what Doc Rivers did for Austin Rivers when Austin's stock was going down in the league. He said, no, that's my son. Let me grab him, earn him millions of dollars while he gets to play under me. And hey, it is what it is, right? You got your son some more money at the end of the day. In your career, you long to be in those positions to be able to do that type of stuff for your lineage, and set up your children's children. I mean, it is what it is. I can't really say too much more than that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.
Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down.
I'm not going to take it down.
Skip. 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 Skip, 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 skip.